Hello, precious people. Elena Phoenix here, and I was thinking about a topic that is very intriguing. I was listening to a Cryon channeling the other day, and he was talking again about spontaneous remission, and that is a topic that Cryon has revisited multiple times, that Lee Carroll has visited multiple times, and I have actually had an experience of spontaneous remission that I was aware of. And when I ask my body how many experiences of spontaneous remission that I've had in my life, I actually get two. I had another one that happened in 2023 that I wasn't actually aware of at the time. And so spontaneous remission is basically something that happens where you have some sort of a serious something going on and it's diagnosable and it's trackable, and you may have had some sort of a prognosis, and then you wake up and poof, it's gone and you're healthy, and they can find no evidence of that condition at all. So that's basically what we experience spontaneous remission to be. Now, let me share with you the one that I was conscious of, because it was profound and it was something that really rocked my world. So, I think I actually had a pretty serious hernia situation going on. I had a lot of serious swelling in my upper abdomen. It was like really distended and felt weird. I couldn't eat. I couldn't hardly eat for like a week and a half. And then I did this um activation session with Peggy Phoenix Dubrow. It was a training weekend, and it was, I think, the second activation with her on that particular series. And afterwards, I felt so strange. And I went and took a bath, and I started kind of feeling around in my abdomen with my fingertips. And it felt really weird. It felt like a ropey thing, and like it made me so nauseous to touch it. And then I felt this being of light come in, and it was profound. It was like basically this being of light directed me to move this mass back into like this slit. There was like a slit up and down on one side of my abdomen, like in the muscles, it felt like. And I tucked this back, and it was the weirdest sensation. I can't even tell you. And then I sat there and I held my fingers there for a while, like really tucking it in. And I felt this light flowing through my fingers. And then I felt like I was in experience taken back almost to when I was in the womb. I felt like I was in a womb like state, like in my very earliest gestation. And I felt my suckle reflex activate, which, my tongue just started doing a weird thing in my mouth. It was suckling. And I wasn't doing this consciously. And when the experience was over, felt so much better. My swelling in my abdomen physically went down. My eating improved immediately. I did wear a wrap around my belly to support the healing of the area, because it felt like it took a couple of days to really firm back up. And first of all, if you ever have an experience like that, I don't recommend doing like I did, because I have a serious, terrifying fear of doctors, and I've been harmed by the medical system so many times. I have a true phobia of going to doctors. So if you are experiencing some sort of weird swelling in your abdomen, you can't eat, things like that, I actually do recommend going to a doctor. I was not capable of doing that because of my own internal fear. I've struggled with panic attacks and things like that. So I don't have any medical verification of any of this that I'm telling you. But it was profound. And one of the things that I wanted to say about the whole experience of spontaneous remission is that, yes, that one thing seemed to heal immediately overnight. There are a lot of other things that have been going on in my body for a long time that did not seem to be changed or improved at all. And so, even though I had this tremendous experience and this very distressing, really physical thing was better just immediately, it wasn't like my whole body was just completely fixed all at once. And then there was another incident, and I was casting back in my mind for when the other incident happened in 2023, and I believe that it happened when I was in Arizona at a different Cryon conference, and it had to do with my heart because my heart, I mean, back in 2019, when, was the last time that I was sitting with a doctor and he was actually giving me an exam and telling me what was going on, he was telling my heart function was only at about 20%. And so this is something that I have been consciously and conscientiously working to improve over a long period of time. And I have. But in 2023, I was doing a lot of hiking. I was doing a lot of going out into the desert in Sedona because I was there actually for a trip for 2 weeks. And I was having a lot of trouble keeping up. I couldn't hardly breathe in some cases. I was dizzy a lot. And then it just sort of went to sleep one day, woke up the next day, and it wasn't nearly as bad. I thought I had just basically worked it out. Not that you can really work out a heart issue. Not in like, a day or two. Um, you know, it it was just, but it was, I did notice that something got better, but I couldn't put my finger on what. And I had a lot of other stuff going on an emotional level at the time. And when I'm all emotionally twisty, I have a tendency to not pay a lot of attention to my physical body historically. So when I muscle test on that subject, it was a heart thing that healed itself with the energies that I was in during that event. And I believe it was the green mist that did that. But it was such an internal process and I had so much else going on that I honestly I didn't notice. I didn't really notice it and think about it as a spontaneous remission event at the time. And so Cryon and Lee Carroll, they talk about when a spontaneous remission happens, it's like basically we tune our DNA up to a higher percentage of working. Like our DNA just kind of comes online and connects in a multidimensional way with our physical in a way that allows the healing to just happen immediately. And they talk about it sometimes as if it's a process that we can somehow consciously control or really just sort of make happen for ourselves. And don't get me wrong, I'm aiming for spontaneous remission for myself from all of the things that I've been struggling with essentially my whole life for a long time, just to wake up one day and be completely better and have a healthy body. Like, wouldn't that be amazing? And I don't know that it really happens like that with everything all at once. Like the two instances that I had, it was like a piece of the puzzle, a very serious one. But there are a lot of other things that continue to go on. And so I think it's a really valuable thing to reach for and aim for and work for those kind of spontaneous remission events by getting in touch with the deepest part of ourselves, with honoring ourselves in the most complete way that we can. And I also think that the step by step journey is incredibly important, and that we really need to do those step by step things on a daily basis that take care of our bodies. Because spontaneous remissions are essentially a big one-off. It's like a giant firework or an explosion going on, and boom, everything is changed. And one thing completely better. But there's still other things that we've got going on. There may be one major thing that got fixed, but 100 minor things that are still going on. My physical body has been a challenge from my birth. I've had a lot of challenges in this life, and part of what my learning process is figuring out how to heal my own body, figuring out how to get better, and to do it in that step by step way so that I can reach for that long, healthy, happy life that I choose to be here for at this point in my life. And for me, I can't just keep hoping and praying for a spontaneous remission to take away everything that's wrong with me. I have to do the day by day, step by step process of honoring myself, of asking my body, what is good for you, what is bad for you, what do you want to eat right now, what would be the thing that you need right now for me to take care of you, my body, and give my body those things. I need to do that on a daily basis, and I also need to continue practicing my self-care, my self-love, speaking to my body in a way that is aligned with the future that I want to create for myself and my health. And I've been working on this dial method of visualization in my head that really seems like it's making a tremendous difference. But to do another video on that later after I've practiced some more and I'm confident that I can describe it and help other people do this. But it's really important to make sure that we are taking good care of ourselves on a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level on a daily basis. And this is especially important for those of us who are traditionally people pleasers, overly empathetic, those of us who are sensitives, because I feel everything. I feel everything. The big energy that we've been going through lately has been tremendously difficult. And there are days that I shut down. There are days that my physical body feels like all I want to do is rest. There are days that I want to get out and go to the beach, and my body's like, you know what? I think we're just going to stay in today, and I have to honor that. So, the process of caring for myself is a challenge for me because it's not something that I'm used to. It's not something that I have historically in my life been tremendously good at, especially in terms of the voice that I have used to speak to myself. I have historically been much more prone to self-abusive thoughts and behaviors, even unconsciously. Putting myself down, self-deprecating jokes, those kind of things I internalized from my environment from a very young age. Um, which is actually kind of a self-protective mechanism because if I don't build myself up so high, then when somebody lets me down, then that's just what I expected anyway. So it's learning how to honor myself and how to treat myself like a precious, lovable, valuable, incredible human being has been a real journey. I literally used to hate myself. I literally used to physically self-harm. I have tried more than one time in my life to remove myself from this life completely. And then when you're in that frame of mind and you can't even do that right, let me tell you, it doesn't do a lot for your mental well-being to have to continue after taking action to not have to continue. Like so learning how to love myself, learning how to want to be here, learning how to honor my body, learning how to look in the mirror and say, I love you. I think you're beautiful. You are valuable and worthy to be here. Learning how to do those things, it took time and it's so worth it. Because honestly, if beating myself up would have made my life better, like by God, it would have worked by now. It would have. I did it really good, a lot for a long time. I practiced that a lot. for a long time. And if that worked to make my life good, I wouldn't have ended up on death's doorstep in 2019. It wasn't until I started learning to love myself. It wasn't until I started saying, you know what? By God, I am worth taking a month off of work in order to go and get myself the help that I need to feel better, because I'm sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. And I don't care if they fire me for taking this month off. It is, I go take this month off to go get help from that doctor who thinks he can fix me, or I'm not going to be able to live. Like, I'm looking disability straight in the face. And I said, no. I said, my life is worth it. I said, I'm going to take this big journey. I'm going to do everything that it takes to heal this body. And it turns out that what it takes the most is a daily commitment to self love, to self care, to self honoring. Not just the part of me on the inside, my consciousness, but my physical being. Because so many of us sensitive people, so many of us spiritual people, we're always trying to get out of our body. We're not really connected to our body. Our body feels uncomfortable. We don't want to be here. And so we disassociate. We don't pay attention to when we're hungry, when we're thirsty, when we need to use the restroom, when we've worked beyond our capacity. We're so disconnected from the physical that we can't name the emotions as they physically react in our body. We hold our bodies in these certain ways, and we can't verbalize, oh, that's sadness, that's anger, that's grief. And so it's a process, because learning to love myself means learning to love every aspect: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And also to quit just waiting for something on the outside to fix me for me. Like, we have help. I've experienced it. I've reached for it. I've had more experiences with benevolent spiritual beings that I could tell you. We have help. We have to give permission. We have to reach for that. But they can't live our lives for us. They can't undo our daily decisions. They can't override our free will to continue to speak to ourselves unkindly, or to treat our body as an afterthought, or to disregard our emotions and treat those as unimportant. Like, spontaneous remission is real, and it does happen, and I have experienced it, and it's profound when it happens, when it doesn't fix everything. When it's still important to do the daily work of learning how to take good care of ourselves, learning how to tune into our body, our own needs, learning how to treat ourselves like the precious, sacred vessel of the divine that we are. And so I invite you to do the step by step. I invite you to reach out for help when you need it. I invite you to treat yourself as the precious, beautiful, sacred, divine being that you are on every level: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all of them. You're important. And I encourage you to treat yourself that way, and that you hold yourself in equal importance, at least to every other person and thing in your life. There's none that are above you, none of them. At least of equal importance. Because if you don't have yourself, what do you have? And if we don't have our health, what do we have? When we lose our health, it becomes the one thing that just consumes our life. And every day, we're living in spite of feeling like crap, instead of because we feel good and we want to do things. And so, yeah, I've been turning it around in my life, and I hope to inspire others to do the same because it's important. We're all important. And so, yeah, aim high, aim for those spontaneous remissions. They can and do happen. I've experienced it. Also, understand that that's one piece of the puzzle. It's not the whole thing. And we can't just wait around for someone else or something else or some outside force to come rescue us. It's up to us from within to do that work, to honor ourselves, to love ourselves, to treat ourselves as the sacred, precious beings that we are. And that's what invites the miracles. So thank you for spending this time with me today. And if I may be of assistance in your healing journey, I would love to. Please visit me at phoenixhealingcreations.com, and I invite you to make an appointment or purchase some lovely organite to support yourself or both. And I hope that you have yourself a beautiful rest of your day.